The time has finally come. We're finally on the road, traveling from event to event. Man, the journey began quite a while ago. It was right before COVID in January that we finally picked up this van. And the goal was to build the van out so that we had something to travel in from event to event. I've been doing a lot of county and state fairs during the summer, which usually goes for, usually it's about a 7 or 8 month season. Starts in April, goes all the way till the beginning of November. And I'd done the tour several times at that point, by that point. And it was quite a push. Stayed in a lot of Airbnbs and hotels, and in between you're traveling and crammed into whatever little car you had. I was driving a Toyota Matrix at the time. So I thought it was time for an upgrade. Kendra, my lovely wife, wanted to travel with me, hiding behind the camera there. And so we jumped on this Sprinter that we found. My brother's something of a diesel Sprinter expert, especially these slightly older ones from the 2002 to 2006 range. And so I found myself one that was really stoked on its condition, and we started the build right before COVID hit. And then, of course, I don't need to tell you, COVID hit and all the gigs started canceling, but we'd already started working hard on the project. And now, over a year later, we finished and we're traveling now, and it's time to show off the van. So come this way, and let's start with its name, right? We started off with all kinds of different ideas about how we wanted to name the van. But we're something of a fantasy and science fiction geeks, and so we had to go with one of our iconic favorites. We called it the Millennial Falcon. So it's taking us on our dreams as millennials to do what we love. Kendra's a writer and loves to travel. I'm, of course, juggling and doing all those things and traveling along with that. And so we've got the whole crew leading the charge. It's probably a little bright for you to see, but and we've got a few other little things that go along with that theme. We were a little worried at first that naming it the Millennial Falcon was gonna doom us, because the Millennial Falcon always is having problems, right? It's time to go to hyperdrive. Oh no, we're being chased by Imperials. But the thing I love about it is it always pulls through in the end. The hunk of junk is far from a hunk of junk. One of the fastest things in the galaxy. And so inside we went with sort of that industrial theme. It's a little darker, kind of gray, and we didn't worry about fine-tuning every little detail. We put some new speakers in, redid some of the lighting in here, put in a backup camera, put in the center console, which is actually where the refrigerator lives, that's accessed from the main cabin. And so did a little bit of touch-up work, took the dash apart and everything, put a new CD player in, and really been happy with this section. But this isn't the most exciting part.
And
of course,
the
you got
bobbleheads.
Han and Chewie, who happen to party hard as we're driving down the road. And then continuing along, let's check out the cargo hold, and then we'll get to the cabin. Of course, we've had a Minoc problem for a while. They suck off the power. We've been trying to get rid of them, but they're pretty persistent, you know. So, as a traveling juggler, I really needed space for my gear. And so I've got a nice big cargo hold back here. This is also where the batteries are located, in the back, in a little battery compartment. Truly got to take a few things out to get to it, but we've got 2 AGM batteries in there, 200 amps of power, and 2 solar panels on the roof that help keep it all charged, and it's connected to the alternator. So we're charging in 2 different ways, from the sun and while we're driving. And then I do glow shows. I do light up juggling shows. And so I've got a big power bank back here, which can all be switched on or off to help prevent little ghost loads. And are really happy with how much space we've got back here. We can fit some camping gear. I can fit all my juggling equipment, and it's a place where I can finally put up all my stickers and my pins and everything. So little bits of the adventure that happen along the way. We've got plenty of space to add to it as we go. Pretty awesome. You might see some things you recognize in there, depending who you are and how we know each other. So these 2 doors are kind of lead me into a couple decisions that we were making, right? Because I needed this space for cargo, we decided to go against one of those like transforming bed couch things that you see in so many vans. And we also decided to seal off the main cabin from the outside world. So you saw in the cockpit that there was no connection from the cockpit to the cabin. There was a wall dividing it from the cabin. Same back here. Obviously, we've got some barn doors here. If we're in a nice space, we want those Instagram photos, we can open these up so you got the epic view while you're laying in bed. But that wasn't really our priority. Our priority was function and also beauty, you'll see in the cabin. But so this provides a few different things. Security, we've got an extra lock here. You did see there's a window out there. But also it provides something for us to lean up against while we're in bed. And if I'm at a gig and I'm in the parking lot, I'm opening up to get some of my gear. I don't want people seeing into the bedroom. Like, that's just private space. If Kendra's hanging out back there while I'm doing an hour gig or something, we wanted that privacy. So these doors serve a couple different purposes, and we've been really happy with them so far. It's pretty shocking how much space we've got back here. I think it's time to check out the coolest part.
And the license plate.
Oh yeah, of course. Kendra did some custom work, getting the Millennial Falcon, not Millennium Falcon. Not Millennium Falcon. It happened so fast you might not notice. Of course, I've got the electric unicycle too, almost forgot to mention, which is an awesome addition when you're in van world and in a little town. You don't necessarily want to have to take the van a mile to the grocery store. I can hop on the wheel and buzz down there instead. But this van's a little smaller.
Stickers.
Yep. A couple more of that nerd factor. Rebel Alliance, and yes, the Kessel Run. So, breaking from the Millennial Falcon theme with this, as you could kind of see by the wooden style barn doors, we have the main cabin. Of course, we cut a couple small windows, once again for security. We're going to be traveling to the cities and camping rural, so we wanted things to be fairly low profile. So come on in here, we've got a bunch of different stuff to show. Of course, we got this nice little extra. Oh yes, of course, sorry. Almost forgot our little magnet collection. I used some of the parts from the original van to help build this wall. This is a big metal chunk here that helped provide this security wall, was what it was. I just used this one piece and ended up building a whole separate wall. Step on up in here. So we've got a full-size bed. We've got all this storage up in the sides here. Let me turn some lights on. We've got the strip lights hidden under here to help provide some indirect lighting. We've got some overhead lights as well, both of which are on dimmers. We've got the Max fan that's been really serving us well. It's got the in and out fan draw. We've got more lights under here where all of our little storage is. We love our little boxes, or at least I love my little boxes. And so we've got lots of compartmental storage, 3 of those along the way. And then we went with a pretty simple design here. We kind of liked just being able to pull a bin out and sort through it, as opposed to have to open a cabinet and then still have a bin anyway. And I found these nice ones on Amazon. All the cedar planking on the ceiling was really fun to install. It looks really beautiful. Super happy with that. We've got our little charging panel here. This is our solar charge controller, and this controls the inverter, which allows us to use the 120 volt power. We've got 12 volt and 120 volt run through the van. What that means is that you've got the same power that you'd have in a car, but we also have the same power that you'd have in a house. With the 2 batteries in the back and an inverter, that makes it possible pretty easily these days. And so we're able to use most different accessories, household accessories and appliances that you have in any house. So we've got our blender and our hot water boiler. We've got a little mini fridge down behind you. It's actually a 12 volt mini fridge in this compartment. Slides right out. Right? It's very full because it's kind of a small fridge compared to what we're used to, but we've been able to make it work really well. And this runs off a 12 volt, it plugs in right in the back here. What's so really cool about this fridge, it runs off 12 volt, or you can take it out, put it in the hotel room, and plug it into the 120 volt socket as well. So it's really versatile. And then we scored this beautiful little mirror at a store in Sonora, California. and I decided to make it a little art project. So the thing lights up, turns on, got a nice little mirror that's well secured. I built the frame for it and everything. And of course, various little cabinets and everything. Made a point of having some storage over the top of the cockpit. That was a fun little project and an interesting one. It's always weird building stuff in a van because there's no straight edges. Everything is sort of curved. You can't use a level in a van for the most part because the van is almost never sitting perfectly level. And so you have to really just make a cut, check it, make another cut, check it. So as you're building with wood inside here, it requires a lot of trial and error, but it was pretty dang fun. And so if you'll notice the cabinets or the countertops, this is some wood that we got from a store in Oakland, and it is an African wood that's often used for decorative purposes called podak, and we stained the heck out of it, or more like sealed the heck out of it with some really good stuff. That's actually the brand name of the stain, or the seal. And we've been using it for counters here. We've got it here on the sink as well as the main counter, and it's been really repelling the water nicely. So we've got the little fold-up counter to give us a little extra space. This actually works out really great from here as a little mini bar of sorts, or a place to serve some coffee from if you're at a festival, something like that. We're really looking forward to getting to use it for some of that. And boy, what else is there to tell? It's so cozy. Of course, our little owls, we just added these just the other day. Found those at the fair in Evanston, Wyoming, which is where we just got back from. And we're really looking forward to adding more of these fun things. And then at night, some alternative lighting, of course. The Flow Toys capsule lights are an excellent addition. We've got 3 of them. They're all paired and can work super nice, creating some mood lighting since I put all white LEDs in to keep things simple. Yeah. So it's just been one of the most fun projects, and it's been such a pleasure to travel in. I'm so lucky to have Kendra with me. It's so much more fun to travel with somebody, and boy, to travel in style. Just loving it. So we're gonna have lots more videos of us traveling on the road. I'll detail a few of the other systems that I've got set up here to add to the database of van life builds, and just stay tuned to watch our travels and see some cool juggling, and watch our juggling journey, if you will. So that's all I got for you for now. Take care out there and look forward to more good stuff. See ya.
Yep, provide hair dryer and I will travel.